Do you think that the public understood the ADR regulations?
I don't think the regulators understood it. I don't think, to be blunt, I don't think businesses understand it. And when you look at some businesses' websites and they say, we've got to point you towards an ADR provider, so here's one, but we won't use them. You go, right, this is point. And to be blunt, there's very little consumer detriment in that case, because you've got a business that's looking after their consumers by and large reasonably well anyway. So it is this step back from the process. What is it we're trying to achieve? And I think we get so focused on process in this country, where let's stop. Okay, what is it we want to achieve? Now, actually, to achieve that, we're going to have to treat people differently. And it's this weird thing, isn't it? We all wanted to be treated as individuals until we think we're treated unfairly, and then we wanted to be treated the same as everything else. And you don't get the right resolution for that. So accept that this is where we want to end up. And sometimes with us as a regulated community, we've got to accept that we might have to set our standards lower than we want to get enough people within that, and then bring them up. So you think about someone like the property ombudsman, for example, and some of the really good work they've done. Now, actually, there's chances where you say, well, should these people be in or out? Actually, then the consumers are much better protected with them inside that, because they've got the protection of the ombudsman. So actually, let's keep them with inside that, and let's work with those individual businesses to raise those standards up. I sometimes think we can be in danger of what the old phrase, isn't it? Just polishing the halos on angels. Now, actually, consumer detriment happens at the bottom end, and if the only tool we use at that bottom end is enforcement and regulation, that's really expensive. So we need to find a better way of engaging with some of that community and go, you know what, we're never going to get you to the point where we like you, but clearly there's a need for you in this sector. How can we get you to a point where there's some transparency and some standards, and everyone's at the right point? So I'd love to see a joined up approach for government around approval, around ADR.
Certainly a lot of the ombudsman schemes, a lot of the ombudsman schemes do training. They do have the feeling of like, we've got everybody, like particularly the ones where it's mandatory, we've got these ones, we'll work with them, we'll train with them to work. But what about when you've got a poor ADR provider?
Well, that's where the standard comes in, and that's where we come down to. And this is really challenging. I know you amongst other people when I was at the institute pinged some stuff off to us. But this is, if you get the standard right, you have something to assess someone against. So again, but get the standard right, and then get the assessment process right. Get the ability for people to challenge that right. And again, it is, do we want to give people like yourselves, people like Which, the chance to make a super complaint, for example, which we have in other legislation in the ADR, to say we don't believe that this provider is giving good enough service.